Yes, welcome everyone. Is Wednesday at noon Eastern time. And if it's Wednesday at noon Eastern time, you know what time that is. It's time to watch the High Noon Hemp Show live, which you're doing right now if you're watching us live. I'm, of course, Stoner Jesus. I do various things. He is Beach, of course, and you can find us in various places. You like the video? You like seeing us? You like looking at us? Well, you can do that. Temptations Beach on Facebook. We also have Jedi Hemp Channel on YouTube and at Temptations on X or Twitter, whatever it is that you may call it these days. And don't forget the return of the High Noon Hemp Show podcast, more classic episodes being added all the time. Just search the High Noon Hemp Show on iHeartRadio, Podbean, Spotify, and Amazon Music. And you'll have all of that stuff at your fingertip. That's if you don't want to see all of this. That's your loss, I suppose. In any case, Beach, what's going on this week in the world of temptations?
Happy Hemptations Day! Happy Earth Day! Both happened this week. So we're going to be celebrating both of those on the show today. Welcome, everyone. It's true. It's the High Noon Hemp Show. It's Wednesday. It's high noon. It's all the hemp you can handle, folks. I'm telling you that right now. Remember, though, the FDA has not evaluated this show for safety or efficacy. Stoner, you know what today is?
What day is it, Beach?
Hemp Day! That being said, let's put our peace signs to our hemp hearts.
That's right.
And to the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the hemp fields of America and to the soil in which it is planted. One seed under the sun with responsibility, sustainability, and thriveability for all. So, we got 420. We celebrate that. We got Earth Day. We celebrate that. We've had the 420 to Earth Day sale at Hemptations for a long, long, long time. Longer than anybody else has ever had one, if anybody else even has one.
That's right.
Because I don't know how many other stores in the world have, I don't want to say equal parts, because, I've always said we're a hemp store with a smoke shop in it. But, you could easily say we're a smoke shop with a hemp store in it. It can go either way. It really can. It's probably 50-50. We have, again, an unbelievable collection of hemp goods, the largest selection of hemp goods on the planet. And you don't get any more earth-friendly than hemp. I just want to preface why Hemptations is so Earth Day friendly is because we're trying to save the earth, and we're trying to do it with hemp. And hemp can do it. Okay? And that's why I have made 421 Hemptations Day. Okay? Once again, Hemptations Day, and this is something I did at Urban Dictionary. I just thought it was fun, an official definition of Hemptations, if you need one or two, I should say. But I thought this was really fun. You can actually go to Urban Dictionary, and if you pop in Hemptations and this pops up, there's a little place you can get yourself a little mug that has this definition, and then says Hemptations in your favorite color if you want. Only $32.25.
Nice.
Unfortunately, not made out of hemp. And as you'll see later in the show, if I didn't have a hemp coffee mug, I probably would add one of these to my collection. I should probably have one on the shelf just because, either way. But again, nothing says 420 or Earth Day more than Hemptations. So that's why Monday was Hemptations Day, and forever will be 421. Forever will be Hemptations Day.
Right.
I don't know who I have to talk to in the wacky calendar place to get like Hemptations Day recognized.
Question.
They officially call 420 420 Day. And if you have those wacky calendars that automatically download into your calendar, 420 Day comes up. So that's why 421 is Hemptations Day, and that's why we celebrate 4/22, which is Earth Day. We have been voted best smoke shop and best green sustainable store in the greater high state area. Millions of people voting on this every year, and we've won multiple years smoke shop, multiple years green sustainable store. I'm most proud of the green sustainable store, honestly. That one is closer to my heart. Winning the best smoke store in the city, folks, just so you know, um, is a pretty big deal because there are smoke shops on every other corner of Cincinnati now. None of them will thank us for opening up those literally pun intended doors for them, and I'm okay with that. I've never been in competition with anyone, and those people that believe they're in competition with me are wasting their time on me. They should be spending more of their time on their own business. I don't know how many countless amounts of, I hear these throughout the 30 years of being in business, yeah, Joe Bobby's going to open up a shop and shut you down. He says, man, we're going to put you out of business, Temptations. We're going to do what you do. We're going to do it better. You can't do that.
That's right.
You can't do it. You can make the best possible shop that you can have, but you can never make your store better than Temptations. You can't do it. It's impossible. Should be like another Guinness Book of World Records that we have somehow, unattainable goal in a retail shop. Be Temptations. No, no, that's not true. Anybody can do what we do. Fill your store full of smokables, fill your store full of hemp goods. Bim, bam, boom. You're doing it just like us. Don't do it just like us. Do it your way. Don't look at us as competition. I want as many shops on the planet to sell hemp. Every store. I want it in every store, on every corner, in every shop, in every clothing place, Walmart, Target, wherever, everywhere. I want hemp goods. It's the only way to save the planet using hemp. If I don't want to be an exclusive hemp shop. I don't. I want the world to sell hemp. I want you to know that you can come to our shop and be surrounded by as much hemp as you will anywhere. And until I find out about that, and it's probably coming someday, maybe not 10 years down the road, but that big box store that's all hemp products, maybe right around the corner because we can do anything with it. You can fill the clothing section. You can put the hemp foods on the shelf with the groceries. You can have the hemp composites. There's so much stuff, and there's so much more stuff to be made and produced and put on the shelves as well. So, my goal for Hemptations Day and Earth Day is everyone everywhere celebrates Hemptations Day and Earth Day every day. I mean, we all know we celebrate 420 every day. The big joke is we get up on 420 and we do the same thing we do every day, but somehow we're celebrating cannabis in a different way. When it comes on the weekends like it does, it just means, we can have friends over and celebrate the same, we're all doing the same thing. Temptations Day is about both. Dress in hemp, smoke your hemp, all that stuff, And Earth Day is just about, for us, it's about what hemp can do to save the planet. And so, I have to say, the very first Earth Day happened 12 days after I was born. And so, to me, I don't, we didn't celebrate Earth Day when I was growing up because we lived Earth Day. I grew up on a self-sufficient farm. We reused and reused and reused. I'm the reuser I am today because of my mother. Um, we didn't recycle because it didn't exist. We were in the hills of Kentucky. Okay. So our recycling was reusing. My mom jarred in glass jars. Again, it was, we didn't. I would have to say the only plastic that we brought into our house that I can remember, for the most part, were Tide jars. That was probably it. It was the laundry detergent my mom used. Um, she probably would have bought it in glass bottles if they would have sold it in glass bottles, but they didn't, and so she didn't. I'm honestly almost surprised, in a sense, that my mother just didn't make her own laundry detergent, because that's the kind of woman she was. She could do anything, she could make anything, she could grow anything. Um, you know, make her own clothing, everything, everything. And so, that's the environment that I grew up on, as far as respecting the earth. And I learned to respect the food. The food that we went out of the front yard and picked, the eggs that we got from the chickens, were better than grocery store food all day long. We could tell the difference all day long. And so, um, that just sent me on clean earth, clean soil, clean water. And that's what we had. We had cistern water. It was rainwater. We used rainwater. We didn't, where we built our gardens had never been gardened before. So there weren't even any leftover agricultural. This dirt was untreated, so to speak. We could have called it organic. We didn't. And we didn't add any chemicals. One of the most crappiest things I ever had to do on a hot afternoon was go out and pick the bugs off of the vegetables and the fruits in the front yard. It's like not a fun game, but that's growing food organically. And again, man, nothing better than one of those strawberries right out, or a green bean, man. Fuck it. Just, it's unbelievable, And that's why I try to buy organic foods now, and I try to buy local foods now. It's for the earth, it's for us, it's for you, it's for everyone. We should all demand clean air, clean soil, clean water. If we have clean air, clean oil, clean soil, and clean water, then everything else falls into place, and we're a much healthier world society. So, as they always say, like most of these holidays, we're Earth Day every day. We're Hemptations Day every day. It's who we are. It's who we will always be. That's why the High Noon Hemp Show exists, because it's Earth Day every day, and hemp is the solution. All right, getting on with the solutions. Let's get on with the products. For four from the store, one from my door. I have definitely gone earth friendly with the hemp products. You've got the hemp straws. Um, I think that again, I had a quote and I carried it around on my wall, and I see if I can remember. It went basically, and it was from the TV show Bones, and I'll never forget it. But the hippie character says the road to the apocalypse is paved with disposable plasticware. And I mean, it's like, it's so true. So why not a biodegradable, compostable straw? Because straw is, again, one of the worst absolute things that there are like billions of, and we need to just get rid of it. And so if we could replace all the plastic straws with hemp straws in the world, that alone would be great. Then, if we could just do um, uh, coffee filters. So I use a hemp coffee filter. I have had the same hemp coffee filter. Somewhere there's a picture of a coffee filter. Um, and we have a couple different styles that we actually made at Planet Everywhere.
Oh,
There they are.
yeah.
And again, I mean, thousands, I would say thousands of pots of coffee made with the hemp coffee filter that I have. It will never need to be replaced. Every once in a while, I rinse it out really well, put it right back in there. Uh, and again, you can imagine all the paper. Even your unbleached coffee filters came from a tree. You know, you can grow one of these in 4 to 5 months. I don't even, I can't even imagine how many actual coffee filters you could make out of one hemp plant, the fiber of one hemp plant. But it's probably a decent amount. It's at least these two. Um, and again, it takes trees 15, 25 years when it comes for paper growth. And once again, 5 months, 6 month max for a coffee filter. Um, Once again, we could replace all the paper coffee filters in the world. What a world it would be. And then, of course, last but not least, plasticware. Okay, about the plastic knives and forks and picnics, and you get a package every time you go and get your carry-out food. They give you one, and I've always reused those. I've never really used them myself, but I've always reused them. But again, it's just a colossal waste of motor oil, or oil, not motor oil, oil from the ground. Okay. Not only are they not biodegradable or compostable, but they last in the landfill for hundreds of years when they're made out of oil. These here, 6 months, gone. Throw them in. You get done with them, and they're multiple use. They don't like start to deteriorate the first time you use them. You can have multiple uses out of them, but when you're done with them, you feel good about throwing it in the trash can. You can go to the landfill, and it can break down and be a positive part of the landfill. Or you can just toss it in your compost pile. Work it back into your leaves and your soil, and have good soil for your plants. And yeah, I cannot even imagine. Again, billions of pieces of plastic shaped like this that will be on the planet way beyond us, our kids, their kids, and their kids, and their kids, and their kids. There'll probably be some apocalyptic breakdown, and kids will be digging through the garbage for plasticware because it's still there and they need it. That's probably the best case scenario. Is it, 100 years from now, if there's some worldwide tragedy, you can go to the dump and dig out all the plasticware and use it for whatever we might need to use it for. Who knows? By then, maybe we'll be able to figure out how to turn plasticware back into oil because there won't be any oil left to drill. That's going away by the end of this century, pure and simple. So now we got to stockpile all this plastic stuff so we can figure out how to turn it back into oil. Anyway, so all right. The the last one is this. I just took a picture of the rack of clothing, because again, if we could replace, 80% of the clothing that most people wear now, which is, from my understanding, even cotton. Cotton has gone down. Synthetic has gone up. So we're making more clothing out of fiber that releases itself into the water system in nanoplastics and finds its way into our blood system, into our bloodstream. This is a known fact. Medical science has found nanoplastics in our bodies. We have them. And the reason we have them mostly is because of synthetic clothing. When you wash it, those little nanoplastics find their way into the water system. They don't get filtered, they're tiny.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow they find their way to the deepest part of the ocean, to the highest mountaintops, and into our blood. Okay. Hemp clothing can wipe out most of that. Hemp clothing can replace 100% of the cotton clothing. Okay. The reason cotton is so bad, it is the leading destroyer of soil on the planet. Over 30% of all the chemicals grown for any one agricultural crop are for cotton. Okay. If we just stopped growing cotton, started growing hemp, and we can grow 3 times as much hemp on 1 acre of land than cotton. 3 times as much hemp fiber on 1 acre. So not only are you taking away the chemicals, hemp doesn't require any chemicals, no pesticides, no herbicides, none of that when you're growing for fiber. Okay. You're getting 3 times the amount of the strongest natural fiber, 4 to 6 times stronger than cotton. Again, the more that I compare cotton to hemp, and again, this is 30 years, because this is really what set me on my hemp journey originally, was learning just the facts about hemp fiber. And then it was the food, and then it was the composites, and then it was all the other things. But really, the one thing I wanted to do was get rid of cotton clothing when we started Hemptations 30 years ago. And this is the reason why. Because again, in one fell swoop, we can send the soil in a 180-degree different direction, because hemp is a phytoremediator, so it's going to pull out all that bad stuff anyway. It's going to aerate the soil with its tap root system, its root system. And, even you just rotate it in. And then you have all of the benefit from that. The worst part is cotton clothing is not getting replaced with hemp clothing. It's getting replaced by synthetic clothing. And they are mutually destructive to our planet and to our bodies. And hemp can remediate that almost immediately. I mean, I cannot even imagine the transition to quality soil just in a couple years. Just in a couple years. And if you do a dual crop, fiber and grain, then you're growing a grain with one of the highest contents of protein of any food, animal, or vegetable on the planet, amongst all the other things that it's nutritionally valuable for. So, to celebrate Earth Day, buy hemp clothing, buy hemp composites, support every day. Go tomorrow if you need to. And then this is what I say. If you need these items, just do a Google search to see if they're made out of hemp. And you may be surprised as to what you come up with. And if not, then just email me at hemptationsatme.com and ask me if the product exists. And if it does, I'll probably be able to find it for you. I have been researching hemp for 30 plus years. And I love it. I still love going and finding hemp products, finding out about hemp. I mean, it's endless, and it's all good. Like, so far in the 30 plus years that I have researched industrial hemp, I cannot think of one negative thing that comes out of this plant. Out of the 50,000 plus byproducts that this plant can do. And that's why I will debate anyone. There's an Earth Day debate for anyone in the world. If you want to debate with me that there is anything, honestly, I mean, you can try to tell me that oil itself is better than hemp, period, and I'll be like, no, we can make everything. We can almost make everything out of oil plus all this other stuff. Mm-hmm. I mean, I definitely, I've always said I would debate anyone as far as plant. If there is another plant on this product that is better for this planet and humans and animals than hemp, I would love to debate you on that. no matter who you are, what you're an expert in. Okay, does not matter to me, and I will win the debate. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. And so, we just got to keep on that path for the earth, man. It's for the earth and for the kids. I want to start saying it's for the kids more. Because every time they tell us that they're trying to change some hemp law, the guy says, it's for the kids. And I'm like, but it's against the adults. We're the ones that should decide. I'll take care of my own kids. If I do something terrible as a parent and my kids end up getting hurt, well, then you can hold me responsible for that. But we don't. That's one thing we don't do in this country. But anyway, so there you have it. Now, there's the 4 from the store on this Temptations Day Earth Day episode. Now, the one from my door, I don't have. It's right here with me. It's with me all the time. I mentioned it earlier. It's my coffee cup. Okay, I'm guessing, and I have not gone back recently to see the exact time. I'm gonna almost show you how it works. Full of coffee.
Right. It's a little bit of a tilt. There you go.
Great. I've been carrying this coffee cup for probably better on 10 years. Okay. Almost every day for 10 years. Okay. So we guesstimate, even to be safe. So that's 3,600 days, roughly. Okay. So even to be safe and like totally underestimate, because there's no way, there is no way that I've ever gone, say, more than a week without my hemp cup. And most more than likely in a year, there's probably only 10 days that I might have not. And this would have been back when I was maybe traveling, like if I didn't take it with me when I was traveling. But it's literally been with me every day for years and years and years because we haven't been traveling, COVID, and all that. And I usually drink 3 cups of coffee. Just so you know, 2 to 4 cups of coffee a day has unbelievable health benefits. Not a doctor. Do the research yourself. I have. And it's a proven fact. One of the largest studies ever, like 10,000 people over a 10-year span or something, I forget what it was, on coffee, showed an unbelievable amount of health benefits. So even if I have 3 cups a day for 3,000 days, that's 9,000 cups of coffee in this 1 cup.
Nice.
Okay. I can literally say that in those 10 years, I bet I haven't had to buy a paper or styrofoam gets me worse, man. If I'm out like traveling and I don't have my coffee cup and I got to go get a cup of coffee and they have styrofoam, it makes me cringe to drink it. I gotta drink it because I love my coffee. I like my coffee. I get my health benefits. It does what I like it to do. But that's again one of the worst. One of the worst. And hopefully soon there will be someone that develops a hemp paper coffee cup. And that would really, really could hopefully revolutionize the cleanliness of the average coffee cup that you get um, from your coffee house or your local gas station. The styrofoam and it's terrible. Styrofoam is worse than plastic, folks. Because we're not coming up with enough ways to recycle or reuse it, and B, it has like a 500-year shelf life. Plastics will start to break down after a couple hundred years. Styrofoam doesn't even show like any deterioration, if I remember correctly, until about year 501 of its life. And I have continuously, even though it clearly says you shouldn't, I have sent every piece of styrofoam that I've ever had, and it's not been a lot because I've tried to avoid it like the plague, into the recycling bin. And people are like, environmentalists are even like, you shouldn't do that piece. It's terrible. It's like, it doesn't get recycled. I'm like, if everyone put all their styrofoam in the recycling bin, maybe the recyclers would pay attention to that and then figure out how to recycle the stuff or reuse it. I mean, I just think that you can even crunch it up and put it into soil and have it act as an aerator. I don't know what kind of leaching that is as far as what goes into the soil, but I mean, there's got to be something better than just throwing it all away and then it's sitting in the landfill for 500 years. That's just ridiculous. That should not be legal. And again, we are lucky. I mean, there's been a serious phase out of styrofoam. More and more places have paper takeout packaging. And so that is a great thing. But there's still a lot of places that'll send you home with your food and a bunch of styrofoam. And again, because it's a great insulator. That's one reason. Again, I will give it that. It does work very well as an insulator. Keeps the hot stuff in, keeps the cold stuff in and doesn't, come out. And so I kind of see that. I understand those benefits, but we could do without it still. It's the old, McDonald's joke. Okay. You can't sue McDonald's for pouring hot milk or hot coffee on yourself. It's hot. So if your paper food product is hot, just be careful. Don't want styrofoam because that helps not burn you. Just be smarter. So. All right. So there you have it, folks. 4 from the store, 1 from my door here on the Hemptations Day Earth Day episode of the High Noon Hemp Show.
Indeed. And apropos of Earth Day, and we didn't coordinate this, but I figured, being Earth Day and all that, Beach will be talking about at least straws at some point. So when I go to the Guinness World Records, if you've been watching the show, we like to mock the Guinness World Records for their complete lack of acknowledgement of Beach's hemp records that he has set and currently holds. And that's fine. And they do other things to claim that they're, good with the environment, or they appreciate the environment. Of course, Earth Day was one of those days. But this, I guess it's kind of cool in a way. This is a picture from the Guinness World Records website. This is 168,000 recycled plastic straws made into an art installation, which, I guess it's better obvious than them being a landfill or the ocean or whatever. And they even mentioned in the article, like, supposedly there's supposed to be more plastic in the ocean than actual fish by like 2050 or something like that. So, happy Earth Day. I guess you can go see this somewhere. I guess that's the point of it. It's not going to be in the landfill or in the ocean. It's going to be in this place where you can go look at it for the rest of time. 168,000 plus plastic straws. I guess they went around like cleaning them up and, get them all together and reclaiming them. And Starbucks had like a thing that where you could put your plastic straws in there and they would go towards the installation and the art and all that. So there you go.
Yeah. Yeah. And that art installation is going to go into the landfill.
Yeah. It'll just sit there forever. It's eventually going to be.
Yeah, it will definitely be there for a long time either way. But, I guess it's a better use for plastic straws than the landfill.
Indeed. They could have done something with hemp straws. They could do something with hemp, period. But they refuse. They absolutely refuse. But that doesn't stop us. For now, almost 300 episodes, we chronicle in this segment just Beach's vast hemp clothing array that he owns, which is a record, more than likely, unrecognized at this point, but still. So we chronicle that. In the Beachwear segment, when I ask Beach a very simple question, he tells me all about it when I ask, what are you wearing, Beach?
It's true. If you're curious, what are you wearing, Beach, to celebrate these Hemptations Day and Earth Day? now you will know. So on top there, on the hat there, you got a good old Hemptations hat. I did this kind of backwards this week because I wanted to show the back of my hoodie. So my T-shirt is a Satori movement, always planting seeds. Nothing says Earth Day like always planting seeds. Totally makes sense to me. The back is this is what I call this 5 hemp facts for your brain unit, and this is on the trailer and shirts and everything. But basically you've got the paper facts, 4 acres to 1 acre. You got hemp protein, 0 THC, all the things that make hemp great. Well, not all the things, because that list is like, I don't think I could get all that on a shirt. be very fine print. It would take days, if not weeks, to read my shirt if I put all the things hemp could do on a shirt. So, and again, here today, it's one of those days where you get up in the morning, you need a hoodie. By the time I'm done with the show, it'll be hot out and I'll have to take my hoodie off. That's why I have shorts on. It's not because I do heroin. I had a buddy of mine once tell me that his mom always said that if you had a long sleeve shirt on with shorts, it means you were a heroin addict. I was like, I do that all the time. Are you kidding me? Anyway, my belt is a Hempy's belt. My shorts are good old Prana, the big name brand fashion designer Prana. In my pocket there, you can see my Green Springs technology pen. My briefs are I Love Bad. My socks are my E-Conscious no-shows. And then that's a good old pair of shell toe hemp Adidas. And I wear those for Nations Day because we actually, back in the day when Adidas first released the shell toe and hemp, it was called the Super Modified. We sold them in the store. I think we had the blue ones, which I do have a pair of. I don't know if we ever had. These green ones are not the Super Modified. The Super Modifieds, which I do have, actually had a wider stripe. Like you could tell by looking at the stripes that they were the Super Modified and made out of hemp. I think it was pretty neat what they were doing at the time. Now Adidas just makes all their styles basically out of hemp and doesn't really make a big deal out of it. Either way. So there you go. If you're wondering, what are you wearing, Beach? Now you know. And I wanted to say that Earth Day at Summit Park, which we used to participate in. I was actually on the Earth Day Coalition board for a little while. Great event. We used to be down at Sawyer Point. Now it's up at Summit Park in Blue Ash. But if you go there on Saturday, which is Earth Day this year, is this Saturday, you will probably run into a gentleman who has made a huge, it looks kind of like a ghillie suit, if you know what that is in the military, but it's made out of plastic bags. So he collects plastic bags and he just adds them. And so, he's probably working on a world record. He might even have it. I don't know. The most amount of plastic bags made into an outfit. I'm sure they're willing to put that into the world records, but not the amount of hemp stuff that I have. Anyway. All right. Well, let's check out this fun little trailer. I think this is on I'll call it the Hempywood, Bollywood theme. So we'll check out this trailer and we'll be back with the news.
you go.
Get your passport to Hemptations. That's actually one of the newest ones. I think that was one of the new ones that I just made. I had forgotten about it, and then I just randomly picked it today. And it is probably the most up-to-date trailer for a movie you will never get to see. But I live it every day. So it's a trailer for my life. All these trailers that I have made are really a trailer for my life. Now that I look at it, spoiler alert, I didn't even know that. I was subliminally doing that. All right. Well, the 2024 numbers are in on hemp. Um, all around harvest up 55% from 2023. Production value up 46%, and that's for all uses. Okay. They basically value to the all over production value was about $417 million, so $500 million in an industry that will be bringing in $10 billion in 5 years if we do it right. Flour is actually up 60%. And of course, flour is why most people grow hemp these days. Um, Grain is up 10%, which is great, awesome. The yield, though, was down. So it's kind of interesting that the yield was on average 702 pounds per acre for hemp grain, which was actually down by 77 pounds the year before. Again, that still seems like a lot of 1 acre, 700 pounds of grain does seem like a lot. And the fact that thankfully we are growing more grain, and we need to do, if we, even if it goes up, next year, hopefully it'll go up 20%. I don't know. But even if it goes up 10% every year, it's much better. Fiber was actually up 23% in production. And another weird, the yield there was 3,200 pounds of biomass, fiber biomass per acre. And again, 3,200 pounds. That's a ton and a half per acre of fiber. And I don't know if they count that the shiv in. Is that taking the fiber apart from the shiv, or are they counting that? Like, do they just weigh the stalks and they count that as the weight? Because then, of course, you'd have to think about that herd, the shiv that we use for the hempcrete or animal bedding or whatnot. But that was actually down 850 pounds from the previous year. So the previous year's yields, and maybe they're collecting more data. Maybe I don't know. Why these numbers seem to be so skewed. But in 2023, for some reason, they were getting 2 tons of biomass per acre when growing for fiber, and then just last year it was only 3,200. So I don't know, but it was up 23%, and that's the direction we need to go to be making all our clothes out of hemp. Either way. And then seed, this is what I don't understand. So grain, so maybe grain, I kind of do understand. Grain, when they grow for grain, they're going for that to go to the food industry or whatever. Okay. The seed, hemp seed, and I think this is growing then to sell the seed to a future grower. That production was down 7%. But the yield increased from 230 to 320 pounds per acre, which I don't understand. Because again, I mean, if you can grow 700 pounds per acre for grain, that's the seed. Why can't you grow 700 pounds per acre for the seed? Now, I can understand why seed production would be down, because to be honest with you, if I was a grain grower or I was a fiber grower, especially if I was a fiber grower, I would make sure that some of those plants that are all females anyway, for the most part. Okay, if you're growing for fiber, all female, big, tall, skinny um, plant. If you want that to flower for the seed, and just throw in some males in there every once in a while. Either way, and so and again, what just even if on a rough low average, I would think that if you did a dual crop, you could get 500 pounds of seed and 2,000 pounds of biomass. Not just taking away. Like I mean, I really think you can find that plant that produces that high amount of seed and that high amount of biomass is just going to be like a really tall hemp plant with a decent sized flower on it. Um, then you're really doing something. Then you're really doing something. How about this? This is something that the hemp material world needs. So Seal Athletics is introducing it's called the Sereno Cotton Hemp um, Denim. They're calling it denim. Okay, but it's engineered for movement. I think I sent a picture over. It should have like four different. Um, but
Um,
this
I have
is
like molecules, and I have outdoor stuff, and 2 vegan victory points, and I have construction.
there isn't a picture that has like four clothing items and a hat.
There is not.
Okay, well, this is athletic wear. They actually had like a pair of like training shorts. It almost looked like they had like the spandex underneath and then a kind of a fiber, but they're supposed to be all made out of hemp. They've got a jacket, they've got hats, but I think what they're producing here is once again kind of a stretchy hemp material. And that's what we need for athletic wear. That's what runners want, and athletes want. Um, it's got to be more breathable. Hemp fiber is antimicrobial, antibacterial, so it's a better fiber for athletes to sweat in. Period. Just a better fiber for athletes to sweat in. Period. Um, so that's good. That's another game changer in the clothing industry, because the one thing that it's very hard for hemp to do and compete with synthetic fibers is the fact that you got that stretchability, and a lot of people want that stretchability so their clothes can kind of grow with them because they get bigger and they get smaller, and as we all know, we don't fit into the jeans that we wore when we were young. um, and so you stay as fit as you want, but it's great if you can stay that fit. But for the average person, they want a little bit of stretchy, a little bit of give, and so being able to do that with hemp is again that's going to be a game changer in the industry. Tennessee is looking to ban THCA. It's going to totally mess up the growing down there. So the Texas ban has passed the Senate, and although there's a pretty big rumor that it won't pass the House. I can't really believe that it passed the Senate. But the thing about the Texas ban is, and this is, as they say, everything's bigger in Texas. There's only one state in the country that grows more hemp than Texas, and that's South Dakota. Which, if you knew that, then you're pretty hemp informed. I knew that, but and so South Dakota first, largest producer of hemp. Again, they're like for a while they're the least friendly cannabis state and whatever, but now they are the largest grower of industrial hemp in the country. Texas is right behind them. If Texas passes this, Texas will immediately go to the bottom of the list. They're the second largest producer hemp farming in the country. And if they pass this bill, they will go to the bottom of the list. $8 billion industry, they're saying, which I don't really understand because that's not how it played out in the report I just gave. But somehow they're saying that hemp is an $8 billion industry in Texas now. And if this bill passes, sayonara. You know, the things that you can do as an adult, you will no longer be able to do legally as an adult in Texas. And then once again, what are we doing? We're creating a black market for hemp goods. And if it's just a retail ban, not making it illegal, so to speak, just banning the sale or making the sale illegal, tap, 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 to any one of the 100 internet sites, and they can order it from me, and I can ship it to Texas if it's not illegal to be in possession of.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not what this bill does. This bill makes it illegal to sell it. Okay? So just come buy it from me. So now Texas is forcing all these people that enjoy these products and they do what they want for them to go out of the state to get them when Texas is the second largest grower of these products in the country. I've never. This guy in Texas, the attorney general or whoever's driving, he's been driving this for a while now, is every bit as ignorant as the governor of California when it comes to hemp. Because the sale of hemp in California is ABC'd, gone. It's the only successful ban of products so far. Every other state that's tried to ban things has been sued. Even if this goes through in Texas, not going to surprise me 1 minute if there's not something filed in the courts the day after the governor signs it. Because Texas has already been through this with Delta 8. They tried to ban it. Highest court in the state said, you can't do that. This is industrial hemp. Okay, you can't say that one part can be illegal. Those are anti-consumerism laws. We actually have laws to protect us from the government saying you can't have something in this form, but it's legal to have it in this form. If it's legal to have it in this form, it's legal to have it in this form. And those are consumerism laws. Arizona. Speak of the suit devils. Arizona is getting banned or getting sued because the ban on THC products is approaching. And so once again, I think the day after the governor signed this bill, it went straight into the courts. And here it is. We'll see what the judge does. Most judges actually put a stay on bans until they can decide. The only place that didn't happen was, I believe, Virginia and California. And then the bill in California stood. But the bill in Virginia, I believe, even though they didn't ban it, it might still be in the courts to decide whether it's legal or not. But they kept the ban. They didn't get rid of it. So most judges actually take the ban away, automatically realizing that it probably wasn't legal what they did. And then they rule on it at some point or another after it's, everybody's done their jibber jabber. Uh, Italy. So Italy has made CBD a narcotic.
Wow.
And this, and I have to go back and check because I don't know. I feel like I think that they kind of stopped. Italy was trying to ban the growing of hemp. And then I believe the government got educated in the fact that Italy grows the finest hemp fiber in the world.
Wow.
Armani puts it in his $5,000 hemp tuxedo, but it's the finest hemp. This is the hemp material that's going into the fashion designs and the high end clothing world. Okay, that's one thing that Italy was already doing, and so. And then, now that they tried to ban growing, I think they were trying to ban the growing of hemp. And then they realized that they couldn't do that because that would affect the fiber industry when they were, again, only thinking CBD. They were only thinking flower. You know, forever, the only thing hemp made was ropes. Now the only thing people think it makes hemp makes is CBD. You know, went from everybody on the planet thinking the only thing hemp did was make hemp rope for the most part to everyone on the planet thinking the only thing hemp makes is CBD. Jeez. It's the battle. It's the uphill battle that I face every day. That's why we're here on the High Noon Hemp Show, so we can hopefully try to get all these things worked out.
Okay.
So we'll see how that if Italy really sticks to it. This is much like I think what South Africa tried to do with hemp and foods and whatnot. Is once they finally realize actually what they're saying or trying to do, they will hopefully realize how ridiculous it is. There is zero reason to ban CBD anywhere. Zero reason. It's none. Nil. Not one. If I spoke Italian, I would say one in Italian. Ah. Okay. So, the Kingpin's Amsterdam Trade Show, which was focused on the global denim market, two of the big names there, the Flax Company, which I think is funny, the Flax Company, and they're the makers of Marmara hemp, which is supposed to be the first hemp fiber to be certified as sustainable. Hey, great. You gave the clothing I wear every day a piece of paper saying, yes, you're sustainable. like, like I hate to tell them, and maybe once again they were the first ones to get a piece of paper that said this. But every hemp company, every clothing company that uses hemp is using a fiber that is sustainable. Okay, so it's like I don't know why they had to be recognized for this. Good for them. This will bring publicity to the fact that all hemp fiber is sustainable. And if you want to make something out of hemp fiber, just go ahead and put a little plaque up on your wall if you want. It says made from one of the most, if not the most sustainable materials, fibers on the planet. Go right ahead. I'm okay with that. And then Twin Dragon unveiled their collection made from Panda Biotech's American grown hemp. So I reported on Panda Biotech's once again. What did Panda Biotech just do? Open up their second facility in the state of Texas. Keep messing with hemp in Texas, dumb bup. Because you have one of the largest, if not the largest, processors of hemp fiber in the whole United States. They have two facilities now in the country, and they're supplying material as we speak. And once again, this is these are the things, the game changers that I knew had to happen, and are happening, and will hopefully keep up with the demand for more hemp and less cotton and synthetic clothing. This one was interesting. This was actually on the government's website, so I don't know if this is what we get under an administration that has no employees to double check things. Okay, but National Library of Medicine called tetrahydrocurcurum THC. Okay, tetrahydrocurcurum is THCU. All right. Now, the interesting thing about this is what this was actually showing, and I don't know if it was THC or tetrahydrocurcurum, because that's what they called it, plus CBD, hydrogels showed anti-inflammatory properties. You know, they're saying that further research is needed to ensure these treatments effectively enhance lymphatic repair. So this was all about lymphatic repair, lymphatic disease or illness. I don't know what to call it, but it basically is blockage in your lymphatic nodes, and it causes swelling. Okay, it's often, I believe, why they check, like, for swelling in like heart issues. Okay. Now, so what they're saying is, and I don't know once again if it's tetrahydrocurcurum (THCU) and CBD are effective at taking swelling down from lymphatic issues, or if it's actually just THC and CBD, which also makes sense. But again, my real issue with this is the fact that there's a reason we need some checks and balances with the things that the government does. Thank you from across the pond. That's why the High Noon Hemp Show is international. People like you watching all over the world. We love it. But and so, the government's going to post something on their website, and then it's going to be incorrect like this. This is, I mean, we can't have that. We can't have that. It's just, that's hurting all industries. An article, regulatory chaos threatens the U.S. hemp industry. And I really like this. I mean, this guy was dead on everything I've been saying. This guy's voice is 100% my voice on this stuff. But it says all the hysteria over cannabinoids is having a profound effect on the fiber and grain environment. Banks are debanking hemp fiber and hemp grain companies, and investors are pulling back on investment into the infrastructure. Okay, this guy's an economist. He's not someone in the hemp world. He's an economist. All right, and I've been saying that forever. I've been saying, and I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. Okay, the current hemp laws and regulations and paperwork and testing that we have to do in the states is absurd. And that's exactly why no grain farmer, no fiber farmer, no farmer, the average farmer does not want to grow hemp because of this legislative quagmire that's only gets worse every day. Ohio's trying to do it. Every state that has tried to send hemp backwards is sending hemp backwards for legitimate farming. Okay? Okay. Um, and that's why and I posted this, and I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. To be honest with you, we have to leave. We can't change. We should not change any of the hemp laws that are currently in existence. And all these states that have done these blah 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 blah. Again, it's all wrong, and it's setting the entire industry in the wrong direction. And this economist 100% agreed with me and everything I've said about what they call intoxicating hemp. And that is, yes, if you want to make age restrictions, 21 makes sense. If you want to make labeling and packaging a priority, so it's labeled correctly and it's got warnings on it and doesn't look like a Skittles package, I'm all for it. Okay. And that's really, really all we need to do. If you want to regulate hemp or change anything with hemp, that's it. Stop messing with all the other things, because every time you take another cannabinoid and you decide you're going to make it illegal, or every time, you're making it harder to be farmed. All right. You want to regulate these things, watch these things post um, 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 yield. After it's like jeans. You want to test a pair of jeans, see how much THC is in them. Then that's what you should do. You can't decide why test the plant when you're going to use the plant to make something that's not going to have any THC in it to begin with. Why should you have to go through any of that? Farmer says, I'm growing for fiber. Just leave them alone. You find out those genes are getting somebody high down the road, well, then you can hold somebody accountable for that. Okay? The hemp farmer should be able to grow as much grain as he wants to. And if you find out down the road that those hemp hearts are getting people high, then you can do something about that. Fact of the matter is you will never find that out, because there is no THC in the seed, and there is no THC in the fiber, and there's no THC in the herd. What we make the hempcrete out of? None. So why does that farmer have to have a license to grow that crop? Why does that farmer have to have that flower tested for THC that's never going to go into the end product? It's the dumbest thing that we're doing with industrial hemp right now. And we're not even focusing on moving that direction. We're more focused on banning substances and it's just so absurd. And we're talking about an industry that will be grossing billions and billions and billions of dollars in 10 years, saving the planet all the while and making all of us better. Republicans, Democrats, Libertarians, Communists, Socialists, everybody benefit. I don't care what religion you are, you benefit. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what color you are, you benefit. There is no one, including the planet, that is not going to benefit by us replacing everything that we can that's currently destroying the planet with a plant that takes more carbon out of the air than trees do. Yes, that's a fact. Sequesters chemicals from the ground. Again, it's just we cannot continue to go backwards. And luckily, in most states that try, they say no. We're trying to do it with a new farm bill. If the farm bill gets signed tomorrow, industrial hemp in the United States is going to take a big old swirling sound, and we'll be back to where we were, and none of us benefit. No one. Not Republicans, not Democrats, not Libertarians, not Communists, not Socialists. No one will benefit from this. You're not saving anyone from anything. Prove that it's unhealthy. Prove that it's unsafe for these substances to actually be consumed to begin with, and then make them. But you haven't done that for 87 years. 87 years, 80, 90 years, however long it's been, can't keep count. You've been telling us this plant has no medical value whatsoever. 75% of the states in the United States have medical marijuana programs. And there's not one piece of true medical study that shows consuming cannabis in any form, whether it's hemp seed or what they call marijuana, THC, is unsafe for the human body, which contains the endocannabinoid receptor system our brain is meant to take in these things. All right. Speaking of that, so there's an article, The Neuroprotective Actions of CBD by a doctor. Okay. And it says that has more than 200 molecular targets involved in CBD's ability to provide neuroprotection throughout the body and the brain. And anybody that's educated on the endocannabinoid system, the ECS, knows about CB1 and CB2. And I was just talking to somebody the other day, and once again, I love that people know this, but what they don't know is that there's multiple receptors. So CB1 and CB2 are just the big ones. You have all these TRPV1, and again, and this person was like, nah, and I was like, no, stop with just thinking that there's two. There's not just two. And this just proved it. This doctor says there's over 200 targets in the body. And again, this chart. I want to thank Tim Johnson for posting this on Facebook. I cannot understand this for 1 second. I'm not even going to try. Okay, I may be a genius, but what I see when I look at this is just this: the fact that these are the places in the human body that the medical world has figured out cannabinoids can go to, and the molecules. Again, there's over 550, over 550, so to speak, molecules that make up the cannabis flower. Okay, and so what this is saying is that there's over 200 molecular targets in the body. And once again, proving that this is arguably the greatest natural therapeutic plant that exists as well. How about this for some fun facts? 6 tablespoons of hemp provides 420 milligrams of magnesium, which is the daily value for the male body. So the daily value is 420 milligrams. 6 tablespoons provides exactly that. For women, the daily value of magnesium is about 350 milligrams. So you can get your magnesium out of hemp with just 4.5-5 tablespoons. And I have been seeing magnesium seems to have been talked a lot in the health world recently because it's supposed to be good for the brain. And it's supposed to be, I don't want to say it fights aging issues from my understanding. So, if you get that magnesium, you're going to be doing your brain and your aging, slow it down from what I have seen. And again, this is not coming from hemp people. This is coming from, I follow health news. All these things, and I've just been seeing, magnesium is almost kind of taken over for turmeric, which recently had its moment and is still having its moment as far as having health benefits. I found a store with a really cool name. I just thought it's Urban, HERBEN Flow, Urban Flow. And I just thought that it's down in St. Pete's. If you're in Florida, in St. Pete's, Just go tell them I said they have a really cool name. Uh, so let's check out. This is the Tribu Ambiance Nagomi collection of furniture. And they're using, and this is, it's kind of funny that I'm reporting on two of these this week, and I suppose there's going to be more and more to come. But they're using what they specifically call Canex, Canax, which is a hand woven, patented hemp based fiber. I don't know if there's anything else in there or it's the weave that they've patented. I really don't know, but I think it's very interesting um, that all of a sudden we're going to start seeing patents. And we'll see how this all plays out, on specific hemp materials, which, I can understand how you could have a patent maybe on synthetic clothing. Like, obviously there's a patent on Lysol and poly, DuPont owns the patent probably on most synthetic fibers, to be honest with you. But I don't know how you can put a patent on a natural fiber substance. You can't patent nature. You can't copyright nature. Can't trademark nature. Nature is its own thing that has the right to be its own thing. In my opinion, the minute that you start allowing patents on nature is the minute nature isn't nature anymore. Now it's some man-made, man-controlled entity. Um, and so, it's pretty neat and good. Good for all. I guess hopefully in 10 years there will be 100 patented hemp materials. If there's that many patented hemp materials, then that means there's a lot of hemp material out in the world, and that's a good thing. I don't think anybody should be able to control making a pair of or making a hemp chair. Like, if I want to weave some hemp up and make a chair, I don't think that another company should say, no, we have the patent for that. I don't think you should do that. But in the same sense, here we go, proving that hemp is the next biggest controllable industry because it doesn't really exist now large scale. So right now, the evil ones are out there looking to get their patents and to build the machinery, to get patents on that machinery, to say, hey man, you want to decorate your hemp, we got the patent for the best piece of machinery out there. This is it's not a bad thing yet. We don't have any genetically modified, I should say we don't have any genetically engineered hemp. All hemp is genetically modified. We've been genetically modifying hemp for 12,000 years as agrarians, because it is easy to genetically modify through breeding. You got a male, you got a female. If we knew this male and this female makes a good fiber plant, we breed them, we make a better fiber plant. We know that this female and this male make a good grain plant, we breed them, we make a better grain plant. And that's all they're doing with CBD. That's all they're doing with the flower. They're genetically modifying it as quickly as they can through breeding. And it's highly effective. It's one of the easiest plants, if not maybe the easiest plant to genetically modify. It's definitely the most genetically modified plant, as I said. There's no doubt in my mind. There are more subspecies of cannabis sativa, cannabis indica, cannabis ruderalis, and I don't know if you can just say cannabis hybrid. If it's not even technically a plant, but it exists as an end result. And once again, because it's so easy to breed, breed a indica with a sativa, and you get a crossbreed of indica and sativa. Again, it's amazing. And the whole reason we have auto flowering now is because of the little known, less known, not known about until just recently, cannabis ruderalis, which I have known about for a long time doing my research because I came across it, but it had no benefit to anyone. It was this kind of short, it's even shorter than indica, shrubby little nothing of a plant, but it auto flowers. Okay. Indica and sativa flowered by the light. Cannabis ruderalis auto flowers. So now we're breeding cannabis ruderalis in and get auto flowering cannabis plants.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it happened. I think the first grower that I told them that, they were amazed that I even knew that. Okay, because they describe an auto flowering plant. They don't say that it's cannabis ruderalis because they bred the auto flowering into the indica or the sativa or the hybrid or whatever it is. Science. Again, this plant and science were made for each other. Oh, this is kind of fun. I think I've shown. So this game, Catan, and it's a big game. I've never played it. Don't know anything about it, but I think it's a historical game. Dating to like back sail ships and whatever. But they have incorporated, hemp into this. So PETA has come along and introduced these cards into the game that reward you for growing hemp instead of raising sheep as livestock. Which is brilliant. Again, it's quite brilliant. To what PETA's doing there, kudos to them for even coming up with this. But what a great aspect to educating people on hemp. Hopefully people will be like, why would I? They're in the game and they see they can do this. Like maybe they'll go to Google and be like, should we be growing hemp now for fiber? And then maybe we'll hopefully get an education on that. But this game is very true to form too. You can go to certain islands, you get the hemp, and it's a resource, and makes you a stronger vessel, and all these things. And so Peter really thought this one out. I like it. So there is it's a company called Hemp Glass, Glass, and it's pronounced glass. Hemp Glass. Company and material. It's the name of the company and the material that they make. Okay, located in Fort City, Pennsylvania, right now. And this will mean something to people that know what this is. But their actual goal is to make a product that right now replaces the aluminum around windowsills with this hemp glass material. It says that it achieves an E84 Class A fire rating. I don't know what that means. I'll have to look it up, but it sounds good. But this is the real kicker. It is as strong as 6061 T6 aluminum alloy. Okay, so if whatever aluminum world you work in, you use 6061 T6 aluminum alloy, you can replace it with hemp glass. Pound for pound, it's stronger than steel and 800 times more thermally efficient than aluminum. All right. So that yet is acting almost as another beneficial insulation. You know, they just recently have bought a 20-acre farm in Florida and are going to grow their hemp for their products in the United States. We're going to be the next 3 years, honestly, if we're not growing 1,000 times more hemp in this country to help with all of the things that we can make out of hemp that come from China or Canada or any other country, then we are not going in a beneficial direction for the moves the current administration is making. If you want to survive in the United States as a manufacturer, producer, um, farming, getting into contracting farmers for hemp for your products, again, 60 to 70% of the plastic. Okay, probably 80% of all wood products, wood pulp products, from paper to 2x4s to wood panel siding or flooring, which exists. Hempwood makes it now. Okay, I highly recommend it. Someone open up a hempwood processing plant, and hempwood would be smart to do it on the other side of the country. And I'm almost surprised that they don't. But I will have to say, and I'm sure it's coming, their new facility, which is like 1 billion square feet from looking at it. I mean, this place is huge. They're just now pouring the concrete floors for this new facility. Their hempwood production's about to get blown up. And again, they're going to own the hempwood because they're smart enough. And they did this just like any other company in any other industry if they would have been smart enough. They're right now working on it, building the manufacturing, building the processing to make hemp products no matter what it is. Okay, from graphene to circuit boards to car body panels to clothing, all of those things. Hempwood is done. They are going. Again, I predicted if I believed in the stock market or buying stocks or investing in anything, I would say invest in Hempwood right now, because 5 years from now, they're going to be supplying the hardware, the lumber yards with hempwood. Okay, guarantee it. Unless the new farm bill passes and all of a sudden nobody can grow hemp because they've messed it up, not gone the right direction. But again, they should be able to use whatever the hemp they want. And if you want to test their hemp flooring for THC, because you think it's getting your feet high, then test it. There's not going to be any THC in that 2x4 that hempwood makes. There's not going to be any THC in the flooring that hempwood makes. But it was made in the United States, grown in the United States, and didn't have to travel too far if you're anywhere around Kentucky. And that is happening now, 100%. But once again, now I can say, on top of being able to replace 60 to 70% of the plastic, 80% of the wood products, now we can replace aluminum products with hemp. Yeah, that's why I do this. The first time in 6 years on the High Noon Hemp Show and 30 years of research that we've seen a product that can replace an aluminum product. Once again, it seems like a no-brainer. It really seems like a no-brainer. And to this company, Hemp Glass, it is a no-brainer. They're doing it. They'll probably be getting contracts from companies because it'll probably be cheaper. Aluminum's super expensive. I can only imagine that this is also going to be cheaper in the long run to invest in for builders. All right. I think the last thing we'll leave you with, I hope I sent this picture over this big old hemp wall. Yeah, over this is ISO Hemp's project, one of their newest projects over in France. And again, I mean, there's just so much hempcrete building going on in France. It's insane. Um, this is probably the largest hemp block build that I have seen yet. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't bigger hemp block builds. I really don't know about the. I haven't looked at the hemp building that's 6 story tall, residential building in France is 6 story tall to know whether it's actually hemp block or it was blown in hemp. I honestly don't know. I think it was blown in because really hemp block being used, and France did the one building that I have shown, which is a community building where they used hemp block. It was just like on the top of the building, maybe 6 to 10 feet, because the bottom of the building was all glass, but the top of the building was actually hempcrete block because they know that it works. It's a great insulator. Period. Um, so these walls are huge. I don't know what this. I didn't really look at it close enough to know what this building is or what it's going to be. But this is going to be a huge, very very large, greatest ever. Uh, um, hemp block wall ever. But no, it's. I mean, again, just another fast moving part of the hempcrete industry, which is the fastest moving industry in hemp right now. It's my opinion. I think that there is more desire worldwide to build with hempcrete than there is to make a pair of jeans out of hemp. Than there is to make a loaf of bread out of hemp. In all honesty, which blows my mind. Yeah, it just blows my mind that hempcrete is honestly a more popular subject than hemp food. Oh, and the reason that hemp fiber isn't even as much of a subject is because of cotton and the synthetic. I mean, they don't want you to know. You know, the cotton industry was jumping head over heels in 1937 when hemp was made illegal. Ironically, and on a sad note, that was also the same year that DuPont released its first synthetic fibers and announced the patents on them to the world. It's just so weird that the two fiber materials that are terrible for the planet both exponentially benefited by hemp being made illegal in 1937. And one of the biggest notions to me, and and I have educated so many black people on hemp. And I remember the first time that a black person said to me, what I can't believe isn't an issue all in all, is they said, so hemp is a movement. Hemp material, hemp fiber is a movement. And I'm like, it should be. I mean, I would honestly say that if I was a black person, I wouldn't wear cotton. I would look for, again, you might have to then buy the synthetic stuff, which is crappier, but there is no way that I would support the cotton industry. I hate cotton because of its environmental issues and the destruction that it's caused. But they should hate cotton because it was on their backs that industry was made. If it wasn't for enslavement, cotton wouldn't be the $1 billion fiber controlling industry that it is today. even though slavery had ended. And don't get me wrong, slaves were used in hemp fields. Henry Clay was a slave owner. Henry Clay grew more hemp than just about anybody else in the state of Kentucky. Okay. But that industry didn't get as big as it did in the United States as cotton did on the backs of free labor. And to me, and again, most of the hemp in the country was being grown on the northern latitudes. Okay. And that's why I would guess, again, I know that there was slavery involved, enslavement, I want to say, there was enslavement involved with the growing of hemp, but it wasn't near, not near. I mean, almost all cotton, I would say, was enslavement was used to farming. And I mean, I just, it's to me, it's just disgraceful. It's disgraceful that the black community has to go and purchase products that a good chance their ancestors were beaten and whipped and worked to death to harvest. It's just crazy. It's crazy. All right. Well, let's get on with a little bit of events that are going on and get everybody on their day. A lot of ranting today. The reason I'm ranting more than normal today because we are going to take off next week. So we've got the big move into the new location. We're super excited about. Da, 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 da. I cannot wait to be there. I cannot wait to broadcast the show from there. There's a good chance that I will broaden in 2 weeks. We will be back for episode 299, I think it is.
Today is 299.
2 days today. Okay. So that's another reason we're going to take off a week to prepare for episode 300 as well.
Right.
So episode 300 is going to come to you most more than likely from our new location.
Very nice.
Which is going to be great. So we're moving the Planet Everywhere studios again. But this one's probably going to be the permanent home for a while. It's going to be fun kind of build myself a new little studio. All right. You got, Hempatexture is still offering 22% off of all their products up until the 25th. So this is hemp insulation. These are hemp construction materials. So, and again, it's architecture spelled with hemp. They're great. May 16th through the 19th, you've got the hemp 4-day workshop. This is going on in Meherrin, Virginia. And again, I think this is the most popular events going on for the most part are also hempcrete related. June 10th through the 11th, you have the 10th annual Native American Cannabis and Hemp Conference in Pechanga Resort in Temecula, California. I think this is the most interesting one because California has just got some really weird stuff going on with hemp. So it's kind of interesting to see what they're focusing on and what they can really do. June 11th through the 13th, you have the European Industrial Hemp Association in Berlin, in Germany. So that could be interesting. Germany is really doing. They're doing a lot with composites. The hemp plastic stuffs. The car companies over there have been using them for 30 plus years, and so they're kind of hopefully they'll probably be the world's largest producer of hemp composite. If we don't get on the ball here in the United States. July 25th through the 27th, you got the Stargazers Cannabis Festival You got your interactive hempcrete workshop there. This is in Waverly, Ohio. I will be there. I will be speaking, and I will be most more than likely doing a paper making workshop. So, if you want to come see me and hang out and learn about hemp, you know, uh, not that you're not doing that right now. Uh, that's the Stargazers Cannabis Festival, and most of their information's on Facebook. You can find their event information on Facebook and whatnot if you're interested in that. And then October 3rd through the 5th, you have the Hemp Building Symposium, this Lower Sioux Indian community in Minnesota. Minnesota, and again, these guys are doing it right. They've been doing it. They have a facility where they do their workshop for hempcrete, and then they have built houses in the community out of hempcrete. They are farming the hemp. And to me, this is truly the way to do it. Seed to wall, as I say, in your yard, seed to wall. Other than the lime, you still got to find that lime base to mix in with your hemp herd and your water to get your hempcrete. But that's it. That's it. So, all right. Thanks everybody for watching for Hemptations Day and Earth Day. It's High Noon Hemp Show Day. Like I said, we are going to take a week off. Next Wednesday, I'm going to be moving more hemp than most people will ever see in their lifetime.
Maybe some kind of record. Who knows?
Maybe I should keep track. Should I document every single hemp product that I move?
There you go.
Because it's going to be thousands.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, thanks everybody for watching. Remember, reduce, reuse, recycle. Make everything else out of hemp. Having Hemptations.
See you all in 2 weeks.